Oh, not too bad. And we're under no illusion whatsoever that Fremantle were desecrated with injury and got further injuries on the night. We understand that, and we feel. I don't think any coach, any person likes to see injuries, and in particular when you see, Evo go down. I coached him over in Ireland, and he's a lovely young bloke, and Fawkes to get, to have that injury. No one likes that, but what it does, already a depleted side becomes more depleted. So under those circumstances, we won. We're happy to come away with what I think is probably a fairly clean sheet of players. So we're pretty happy about that. But as I say, I really feel for Mark. I don't think it was a game that really we're in fair nick, and we're playing a side that, with a full side, would have really challenged us. But you can only do what you can do, and I feel sorry for him. I feel sorry for this. For that. Don't get me wrong. I'm not bemoaning the fact that we've won, but just to see how many good players they had out, it's astounding, quite frankly.
Despite the first quarter, Mick, did you see the Dale Thomas collision with Everton?
I saw a collision. I'm not too sure.
Any opinion?
No, I have no opinion on those.
Did you think we were expecting Fremantle to come at your boys like they did in that, especially in that first quarter? A lot of niggle and.
They played football to win the game.
Mick, was it hard at all to get the players up for this? You mentioned with Geelong next week. You mentioned the players out.
No, not at all. No, not at all. No, we're out here to do as well as we can leading into a final series.
The fact that you've still the minor premiership, you must be pretty proud about that.
I don't get too caught up in that, quite frankly. That's something I think it was pointed out to me not too long ago, in fact, probably last week, that 1973, I think Collingwood had something similar, and Richmond won the premiership. So really, it's good, but it's not final, put it that way.
What did you make of Chris Dawes' first game?
Sorry, who's that, mate?
What did you make of Chris Dawes' first game?
Well, we got the time into him, and if I can just, you bear with me for 2 minutes. We aim for 70%. We've got 71% game time into him. Sorry, you asked the question? So that's good. That's what we're after. We've just got to be very careful how we manage the players. We did it with Didac twice as a sub player, and leading into now he's had 2 games plus 2 sub games, and Chris is the same. We had to hasten his up. That's why we took him off late and didn't go back on. So it restricted us to 2 interchange players, which on this ground is significant. I think young Sinclair did 18 kilometres tonight, but it won't do him any harm. But it just shows you this ground is fairly unique.
Cracker had another nice night out in front of his home.
On the very ground that I think that he did very well last year. Yeah. I can't remember the NAB Cup. Did we play over here NAB Cup?
Yeah.
We did. Yeah. Did he play in the game? Yeah. He did. Okay. So I can't remember how he went, but he's had a fair night.
Is he done enough to? I mean, he seems to fit in more than smoothly. Has he done enough to keep his spot for finals?
Oh, we'll weigh up every week. I'm not going to announce our selection, but he's been part of it for a number of weeks, and we've been very happy with him, put it that way.
Have you ever been in charge of a club that's had this much depth at this time of the year?
Well, you say depth. I'm not too sure. Our reserve side finished with 3 wins, and we were in a position last week where we played Sinclair, Keefe, Young, Fasolo, Rounds. I don't know whether Rounds was actually, or McCarthy. It's young depth. It's not experienced depth at all.
But it seems that they're comfortable when they do come in.
Yes and no. I think those boys have played the role that we intended, and are they in contention for some of the bigger games? Of course they are, but we would like to think that we have a bit more mature side going into the next few weeks. We've got... I hope that Ball will play next week, and I hope that Tarrant will play next week. Wellingham wouldn't be far off, I don't think, if he was pretty close this week. And then we've got Maxwell and Shaw come back. So it's a balancing act. I don't know whether we can bring them all back, put it that way, but they're experienced players. So we've got to be careful.
Are you concerned by the drop-offs that we've seen during the last quarters?
Oh, not really. Last quarters, I think we're still well in front. It's pretty hard to maintain that the whole game.
And I know you're probably sick and tired of this question, but fresh reports about...
You're right. You're right. I'm not going to answer anything to do with rumours. I'm here to talk about Collingwood and Fremantle.
Has anything changed though?
No, this is Collingwood Fremantle match. This is what we're going to talk about.
The game against Geelong next weekend, do you welcome... And
Collingwood and Geelong as well.
Do you welcome a match against that sort of opposition a week out?
It's a very... This competition... I went back as far as I could, and I guess the media magazine's probably the most appropriate one to go back and have a look at final series over the last 100 years. I can't recall a competition that had its fifth side, in this case Carlton at the moment, 120+%, and other sides in front of them around about the same or more. To have that percentage, there's clearly a number of sides that don't have that percentage. So it's been a year that you don't necessarily have a lot of hard games in a row. You tend to have a little bit up and down, and it's not a luxury because you've still got to win the game of football. But it doesn't really test your resolve over a long period. I think the best we did, and I'm not talking about the teams themselves, I'm just talking about the fact that we played some final top 8 sides that are currently in the 8. Probably 2 or 3 times during the year we may have played 3 in a row, or 4, maybe 4. There might have been once we played 4. Now that's significant because if you get through the end of that, you know you've worked. I don't know whether that has been the case enough in this competition, and that's something that it's now round 23, so it's too late for us to start getting caught up in it. But I dare say it does. You can come away with what I would term soft wins. Does that prepare you for finals football? No, it doesn't. So we've been fortunate that today the scoreboard wasn't considered. We played hard football against the side. We understood that they were going to come and play pretty much one-on-one football, which was good, which meant that players who historically can get probably a bit of space didn't. The ground doesn't lend a lot of space lateral. So we come away with some positives today. Last week was I think who we played last week. It gets away from you that quick. But we've had some good games over the last few weeks, and that's got us into a position to play Geelong at a level that we want to play them.
Mick, you brought up the idea of top end tanking a few weeks ago. Does this mean basically you're saying you're going to go hell for leather against Geelong this week?
We're going to play football in preparation for our final series.
And how are you feeling personally heading into the final?
Oh, it's exciting. It's great for our supporters. The two most important parts of any football club, number one, are the players, and 2 is the supporters. They go to watch the players play. Anything else is really peripheral. And I'm excited for the player group because they've worked very hard for this, and I'm equally as excited for our army because they have been outstanding in their support, and you see out there today there's umpteen thousand, I reckon, Collingwood supporters, and they follow us all over the place, and so it's a wonderful feeling to go into a September knowing that your side has been through the preliminary rounds and playing reasonable football, and you never know what might happen. There's no guarantees, but it's a terrific feeling.